your thoughts. All right, welcome. All right, welcome everybody. We are live once again on YouTube with our very famous instructor Rushika Kale, and the reason I'm speaking like this is because every time I see Rushika, I get energized. So welcome Rushika, and I believe this is your second session on Power BI, and you'll be covering reporting with Power BI to show how we proceed with the future classes, so people get a glimpse and idea of how we proceed. uh, Maybe something about the quizzes that you do. Maybe we'll get to understand something about how you do, how you partner with the Global Career Sources Group, and how we do LinkedIn or resume optimization, plus your notes, exercise, all those wonderful things we learned about, and we'll get a chance to also address any of the questions about duration, the timing, the courses, and everything. Right, Rishika?
Yes, you're right.
Thank you, thank you. So, without any further ado, let's give a big hand for Rashika Kale.
All right.
Come on, guys, show some emojis. Welcome emoji.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Arun sir, for the lovely introduction. Hello, everyone. We are already on a day two, and we
Yeah,
are
thank you. Thank you,
master
Rushika.
class. Yes, thank you, Shubham. So we are having this Microsoft Power BI Desktops masterclass. This is already a day two. The today's session is going to be mainly focused on a demo part. So that's why I have talked to you about installing Power BI Desktop. I asked you to do it in yesterday's sessions, and as well as Arun sir also have reminded you for the same. So I hope everybody is on their laptop as well as they are having their Power BI Desktop open. All right. So as per the agenda for today's session, I'm going to judge your memory. I'm going to do a quiz, a very short quiz to understand like how many of you are paying attention in yesterday's class. So that is going to be my very hash one thing that we are going to do in today's session. After that, I'm going to start with a recap, everything that we understood yesterday. I know it was lots of theory, but what was the most important points that we are supposed to take from that? That is the main aspect I'm going to talk on. Okay. Once my recap is done, we will be starting with our demo, like how it is supposed to start, how to understand the data set, and everything, like how in a usual project we usually follow the pattern. That is what I'm going to talk. Okay. Again, similar to yesterday's guideline, I'm going to do a specific topic. I will pause for a minute or two and I'm going to wait for your questions. And again, if you remember, I'm going to take a 5 seconds rule. If there is no response from the audience, I will have the clarity that you guys understood what we have talked about, and I can go ahead. I will go ahead afterwards. Okay. So, welcome to Power BI Masterclass. As I have said, the first thing we are going to do that is going to be a quiz. We have about 17 people in the class. Okay. So this 17 people, I'm sharing my screen on the quiz session. I'm going to host this quiz. I believe everybody is on their mobiles as well. They are having their mobiles with us. Sorry, everybody is having their mobile with themselves. So let's see how this Kahoot goes with you. Kahoot is the quiz platform that I use to understand your memory with respect to the topics that we did already. And here we are. So if you have done if you have seen KBC, like in India, it is called as
Yes,
Kaun Banega Crorepati. Yes.
yes, we have played. Yeah, Kahoot. So Kahoot is an online platform for your quizzes, right?
Agree. Yes, correct. Shubham. So this is your code. You have to scan it from your mobile. If you do not have a mobile, you can even log in from this page. You do not have to actually log in. You just have to use your name, and you have to select some avatar for yourself, and you will be in. So I can see there are one person already in. I'm going to let's get please get into the Kahoot quiz. I'll tell you how it goes. The question and the options will be shown on my screen. The color set, like there will be the boxes with the colors that will be shown on your mobile or your platform. So from my end, you are going to see the questions as well as the options with it. From your end, you are only going to see the color associated to that option. So whichever the answer you think that is right, you are going to click on that particular color from your mobile. Okay, that is how we are going to do this Kahoot quiz. A tip is faster you answer the question, the on a podium, you are going to be on the top. So the more accurate as well as the faster answer you provide to the questions, the better position in a podium you will be at. Okay, any questions on the Kahoot quiz? Options and question will be on my screen, so you have to pay attention on my screen first. Once you read all of it, you have to click on your mobile or from your seat, like laptop or the mobile phone. Suppose you have to click on a color that you see as the right answer. Okay, I can see there are 9 people in the chat on the screen, and I'm expecting you with your own names. Okay, so because at the end when the people are going to like we are going to get the winners, suppose, so I want to congratulate those people. So don't use any nicknames or stuff. Okay, I can see there are 10 people so far, and Kirti, Salman, Siva, Pratap, Neha. Who is Sus? Okay, Suslipta. Okay. Manish, Shubham, perfect. Okay, so very best of luck, guys. I'm going to start the quiz. We are having 12 people in the quiz right now. 22 people have joined so far. If anybody else wants to connect on a quiz, do it fast. The link is in the chat box right now, and this is your QR code. Okay. Till then, every other person who has already joined, start jogging your memory, like what you have heard from me from the last lecture. It can be anything basically. Okay, whatever I have talked on, it might be in a theory that is available on our OneNote, or it might be even just a simple, like, I don't know, discussion point that we have done. Cool. 14 people so far, and I think we are good. And I'm going to go ahead and start the quiz. Let's go. So here we are with the Kahoot Masterclass Power BI workshop. So today we are going to have this workshop as an entire demo session. Best of luck. What does the BI in Power BI stands for? So very easy question to start with. I hope everybody will get it right. And 12, 13, last 20 seconds to go.
Rushika, right? Rushika, in the screen, we are not able to see the option as well. I'm just only getting these symbols.
Exactly, that is what I said. So on your mobile, there will be only colors or the shapes, the
Okay.
options, and the question will be on my screen.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. The first question was a trial question. Let's take it that way. I hope you understood from the first question like how it goes. Question and the options will be on my screen. On your mobile, there will be only colors or the shape of that shape with the color. Okay. So check out the question on my screen and then select the option on your mobile. All right. Let's see who are on the top 3. So Neha, Susplita. Sorry, I'm Suslipta. Yes. Shiva, Swapnil, and Pato. These are the top 5 so far. Let's go ahead. Question number 2. Power BI Desktop is available on which operating system? So what do you know? Which of these which one of these option is right? Power BI Desktop is available on which operating system?
Windows OS.
Yes. All right. I hope 14 people have answered so far. Let's see. All right. 9 people have given the correct answer. Windows operating system is the right one. Mac OS is not at all. All of the above, since Mac OS is not the right one, then not the other ones as well. All right. Big change on the screen. Subscripta is on the top. Let's go ahead. Question number 3. What does SQL stands for? What is SQL?
It's a structure query.
All right, please take your answer this question from the quiz platform only. Like there are people who are joining here. So I guess Deva, I would suggest, I'll request you to not answer it on a unmute place. People are answering it on a quiz. Yes, please. All right. Okay, 13 people have given us the right answer. Let's go ahead and see a big change on the screen again. All right, let's see question number 4, true and false. Business intelligence involves making smart business decisions with the data insight. Is it the right statement or the wrong statement? True or false? Okay, 12 people have given answers. Last 10 seconds. And let's see. Perfect. So 14 people have given the right answer. One is on the false. Cool. Let's see. All right. No change on the screen. Pratap is on top. Perfect. The last question of the day. Which of the following best defines business intelligence? So the term business intelligence, which one of these four options will give you the perfect definition? All right, last 10 seconds. Perfect. So presenting the business data through analysis and insight that will define us with the business intelligence term. And that is it. We are done with the question. A very small quiz. Third position has been taken by Nidhi. Congratulations, Nidhi. The second position is taken by Neha. All right, top, like two girls in the top three position. First position is been taken by Pratap Panda. So all right, congratulations everyone. I hope Susplipta and Pato. I guess Pato is Patrick, I believe. All right. So congratulations to the all winners as well as all the other people who joined the quiz. I hope you guys got to remember a couple of stuff like what we talked about in the last session. If just in case if you have forgot. So that is it with the quiz, and we are going to go ahead with the second aspect of our agenda now. Cool, and here I'm closing the quiz. And we are on the second aspect of the agenda. And as I have said, that second aspect is with respect to the recap. What all the things that we have covered in the last session. And I'm going to just go ahead and explain to you it again. Not entire explanation, but just is like a recap. Right, here I go on my screen. So we started yesterday's session by understanding the term called as business intelligence. The BI is a big umbrella which includes the softwares like Power BI under it. So it is a overall process where lots of technologies has been included, and on the basis of technologies, there are different data roles right now in the market. So on the same basis, we have started understanding and learning about Power BI. Power BI is your data visualization tool that can also be called as reporting tool, and it may also be called as BI tool. So people, like every company, every other person is going to say a different word probably, and you have to understand it with the same concept. Like that one word is a Power BI for the same. So Power BI, in the last session, we also understood like why we are learning Power BI, because there are n number of different data visualization tools in the market, but still why we are still sticking with Power BI here. So that is something that you will get to know from the last session. After that, we know like from where to download. I believe everybody here is with the software today. Power BI is having three important components. Like when you are a developer and you are developing a new project, these three important concepts is like these are the most important concept that you need to know when you are learning it and when you are preparing or building any report. So starting with the Power BI desktop, which is completely free software that is available from Microsoft. It is the main important developer software, which is Windows based and which is completely free. So when you are the beginner, you want to start learning the Power BI desktop, suppose. So this is the one software that you have to master. Okay. So if I said like out of 10, like seven out of 10 times you are going to be on a Power BI desktop. Or remaining 3 times you will be on either Power BI service or mobile. So this is the one software that you have to focus a lot and learn a lot out of it. Second aspect, that is a Power BI service, which is a cloud-based website, which is also www.powerbi.com. That is the website I'm talking about. This website is going to help us in sharing that report with the people. So desktop is going to help us create the report. We are going to have the source files. We are going to make the edits. We are going to modify, customize. Lots of things are going to be developed on Power BI desktop. Once it is developed, we will take it on Power BI service, which is your website. And on the website, we are going to share it with the appropriate audience. So who are my audience? Who is the end user of that report? I'm going to share this report with that person. And finally, Power BI mobile. When you do not have your laptop with you, you do not have any desktop or laptop system with you, that time, if you want to see your report, how it is performing, if you just want to share it with some particular person, then those aspects you will be able to do by using Power BI mobile here. Okay, so these are the three important components that is under the Microsoft Power BI. There are a couple of more, but that is something that I'll be talking more into the main sessions, that is in our actual sessions that we will be having in coming weeks. But these three important aspects, if you want to become a developer, the majority of time is going to be into Power BI desktop. After that, in an interface, I talk to you about the views. So Power BI is having different views. So we are talking about data here, which data is going to get converted to the graphical representation of charts and graphs. Okay. So in that case, the Power BI, the different views under the Power BI is going to help us understand how this data is looking. So how it looks under the report, how does it look under the table scenario, how does it look under the model part, and how we are going to perform on the calculation part of it. So all of these aspects, they are having a specific purpose. Report view will only create a report. You will see all the visualization aspects of the Power BI desktop on this particular view. You will only be able to create a report here. Table view here, you will only be able to see the rows and columns and the table that you have taken from different locations. Model view, when you have two or more than two tables with us, in that case, model view will help us connecting those tables. So we will be able to create a model. What is this model and how do we create it? We are going to understand we are going to take a glimpse on it, but we will not able to go in a detail in today's session. But model view is something which is a foundation of entire report. If your model is not right, the answers, the interactivity within the report is not going to be good. Okay, so this is one of the most important aspects that you have to focus on when you are creating a report. And going on, that is a DAX query view. It is only going to perform the calculation on the data. So you will try to perform some calculation. It is going to show you the result out of it. So there are a couple of things that Power BI, so this DAX query view is going to show it to you. But this is something that is under the advanced, and that is something which we are not we will not be able to do in today's session. But we are definitely going to do a basic level of calculation part in this class. This whole session is going to be for next about 45 minutes. We will be understanding some process, like if you want to prepare a new report, you are building a new report, how and what you are supposed to follow. Because this is one of the most commonly asked question to me, at least in my previous batches, that like usually my students have said that they see the data, they finalize one data, but they always get like that they always get confused, like what to do next. Like I have the data, I can see it, I know I want to create a report, but I don't know how to, I don't know where to start basically. So that is the one question that I always have started in any of my batches, and that is what I'm going to talk to you in today's session. So going forward, the one question's answer that I'm going to give is how to create a report. Okay. So it is going to, so the terms that I'm going to say and the pointers that I'm going to write, it is going to answer a couple of things. It is not only just going to help us understand how to create a report, it is also going to help us understand like how you want to learn a new reporting tool. So this process that I'm going to write it down on the screen, it is not only just for the Power BI, it is for any other reporting tool out there in the market. So in future, if you want to understand Tableau, you can definitely use these steps. If you want to use some other softwares, you definitely can use these steps in those process. And that is something, a 7-pillar concept that we talk about always in our sessions, in our CoE groups, and even Arun sir has mentioned it like n number of times in all the Power BI sessions, I believe. So this, how to create a report process, the very first step when you receive a data with you, whenever you have a technical round in any company and they have given you the data, the very first thing in creation of a report that we have to do is called as extraction. This extraction process represents that there is a data available in your laptop somewhere. You are going to extract it and take it inside your Power BI desktop. That is the extraction process, which means you are going to get the data in the system. Okay. Second process, once your data is in, I have taken the data in my Power BI desktop. The second process that we will be doing is going to check for the transformation part of it. Transformation means manipulation of the data. What I'm saying here is when you are a developer, think about it in a very simple scenarios. You are collecting the data from 4 different locations, 4 different people. You may or may not get the consistent data from them. Somebody will start writing down as a USA, somebody will name it as a United States, somebody will rename it as a United States of America. 4 people will have the 4 ways of writing, right? So as a person who is collecting it all at one location, that person has to centralize it and make it consistent so that the next person is going to understand it better. So that is the process called as transformation, which is our second process. And it is one of the mandatory process where we have to check if my data is good or not. So transformation is our second step, which says you have to make your data consistent so that the further process will be easier for us to prepare. That is my step number 2 to perform. That is transformation. Third process, that is called as modeling. Modeling, as I have said before, when you have two or more than two tables with you, you are supposed to connect those tables together. It is going to help you interact with the data. The interactivity within your report will be much easier and faster if you connect the tables together. What happens if you do not connect the table together? Like, this is a part that I'm the data that we are going to have today, it is going to contain only one table, but there will be scenarios in future if we get the chance again to have the session like this, then I can definitely show you like how the two or more than two tables, if they are not properly connected, what would be the outcome from that. Okay, but that is our third process. Once my data is consistent, if it is ready, once it is ready, the next third process is going to be about the modeling, where I'm going to connect the tables together so that the interactivity in my report will be better. Once my model is prepared, the fourth position is about the calculation. So calculation means you have received the data, but there will be a time when you need to prepare something more out of it. You have the data coming from the different places, but now you want to understand something better out of it. I will talk more on it when we will be on that point in some time. But calculation is one of the, again, all the process is important, but calculation is something where people struggles and they feel like it is very hard and they get scared to perform anything out of it. But trust me, once you know what you need to create, it will be very easy process for you. That is the only challenge people have, that they don't know what to create or they don't know what to prepare out of this data. So I'm going to try answering and helping you with that specific question only in today's session. The fifth point that we are having is called as visualization. Visualization means once my data is prepared, once my calculations are ready, finally I am at the spot where I will be starting with the visuals of it. So I'm going to create a charts and graphs on the report, and so that the further, like, and that is the actual screen that any end user is going to see from your end. You are very good with the transformation, you are very good with the modeling, you are very perfect person with the DAX formulas and the calculation. Okay, but you are not very good in the creation of a report. You don't know how to create a report, you don't know how to visualize it properly, then there is no use of it. All the 5 elements that I have mentioned in the chat on the screen, that is equally important. The first 4 points are for the preparing your data, and the fifth point is to present your data for the future, for your end user. Because at the end, your client is not going to see how you have done the first 4 process. He is going to see what you are showing on the screen, what numbers you are showing on the screen, right? If the data given by your client is giving 1,000 value and your report is showing only 670 something, okay, so it is not going to make sense. The report that we usually create, the main purpose, the agenda of that report is always to give the accuracy and the validation with respect to the data given by the client or the any end user for that matter, right? So these are the basic 5 steps that we are supposed to follow to create any report. And on the same line, when we are preparing any report and when we are learning any software, any reporting software for that matter, then these are the 5 steps that we are going to follow. How I am saying it, like, these are the 5 generic terms. Okay, I'm going to apply some words. I'm going to start my Power BI desktop. I'm going to navigate to you like how these 5 steps matches on your Power BI desktop, and so that we can go ahead with it. But before that, does anybody having any question on the topic? Any confusion, like whatever I have said which does not match with your own understanding so far? Anything like that? If you're good, give me thumbs ups. If there are questions, please let me know. Yes, Shailesh. I
So that
cannot hear you.
the calculation part is the transformation part. Am I right?
No, calculation part is you are creating a DAX formula. It is a formula creation part. Transformation is your second step. That is manipulating your data, like deleting the rows, deleting the columns, splitting the column. So these are this sort of this sort of transformation. If you want to
Because
replace something, um, in that way.
because when we talk about ETL, right, we talk about extract, transform, and load, right? So
Yes,
load becomes the
third process.
third process.
Hmm.
Okay.
So
Okay.
transformation, yes. So transformation that I'm talking about here, that is the ETL part of Power BI desktop. In the market, there are specific dedicated software which perform the entire ETL process. For example, Alteryx is there, ODI is there, Oracle Data Integrator, there is Informatica Data Power Center. So there are a number of software which focuses on complete ETL process. Power BI is having like if, for example, if ODI is like 100% of ETL, then Power BI with its transformation is going to give almost 30-40% of that level of transformation capability with it. So it is the ETL part of Power BI, the one that we are going to talk about. But calculation is different, transformation is different, in short.
And both integrates, right? BI and Informatica or any tool, right?
So
There's
whatever we will
integration.
create, so when we want to take the data in Power BI desktop, it is definitely going to get, like we can definitely get this data from Informatica to here. We
Okay.
may or may not able to connect it directly, but the common, usually the centralized location where we collect it, that usually is a SSMS, SQL Server Management Studio. So Informatica, first of all, transforms your data, make it clean. That data goes to the centralized location, that is data warehouse named as SQL Server Management Studio. From SQL Server Management Studio, we take the data in Power BI. So this is like a two-way process. So this path contains two different softwares to reach to the Power BI. So that is where we talked. That is why there was a last session we talked about this whole process. Cool. So I have seen thumbs ups from many of you. If there are any questions, please put that into the chat box. I will be stopping every couple of minutes to a couple of minutes in like almost 5-10 minutes, and I'll be talking about like I'll answer your questions in the chat. Okay, if there are any questions in the chat. Okay. So as I have shown you in the last session, I'm going to start the report by clicking on a blank report because we are going to build something in today's class. So if you are also there with your laptop open and you are preparing to create a report with me, open your Power BI desktop, click on a blank report, and this is what you are going to see. Okay. Till then, there is a question by Niti. I'm doing a non-technical job in the banking sector. So my concern is that you teach basic to advanced. Yes, definitely. So usually how I teach, I like if you have heard me so far and if you are there in the last session also, my approach is always with the real-time scenario. And I always go from very basic, like even the next person will get irritated, like just forget it. I know about those stuff. And then I go ahead with the topic. So I definitely go from the very basic topic to the advanced level. If there are certain topics that is you need to know before the session starts, I always do it. I always give it as a prerequisite. I will give you the material to read, and we will be talking about it in the session afterwards. Okay, so that is how it goes. Cool. So this is where we are right now. That is my Power BI desktop entire software tool. The next thing that during creating a report, I have said that is extraction process. The first process that we are talking about is extraction. So what we have to do, we have to take the data something from outside to inside the Power BI desktop. So this process we will be able to do by using this option, that is data option on my report. So in the home tab, there is a data feature, data section here, which contains different data sets. If you are having a data coming from Excel sheet, you can select that, you can find your data set and you can get it. If your data is coming from SQL Server, you select that, you have to give your server name, database name, and etc. And you can click on OK, the data will be in. And that is your extraction process when we are building a report. People usually get confused, they get overwhelmed with the amount of data that they see and they don't know what to do next. And that's why these are the 5 steps. You do not have to think about the 5th step at the very as a first step. First of all, you have to always go step by step. The first step in the sequence like we are having, that is the extraction. It means you are only supposed to think about the extracting the data into Power BI desktop. So my process right now is to take the data in Power BI desktop. I'm going to use a sample data that is available with Power BI, which is, I believe, everybody out of everyone here can see. And that sample data, you can get it from this particular option. So when you do not have any data on the report, you can see there is a use sample data option available on the screen. So all you have to do is just click on use sample data. Once you click, it says load sample data here. All I have to do is I have to click on the same and it is going to open the navigator page. Navigator page is the location from where, like this is like concluding page which says that Power BI has understood your data location and we are ready to take the further data in the system. So from the extraction process, that is our very first process here, which says we have to take the data in Power BI desktop. This navigator is the validation that Power BI gives that it has understood the data from its perspective. And all we have to do is select it. So this is my financials data. All I have to do is just click on a checkbox and I'm going to click on load. So how did I come to this particular page so far? There is nothing in my report at the moment. I clicked on a sample data. A sample data will ask for the load sample data option. I will click on the same again. And now there will be an option to click on financials or sheets. So I'm going to select the financials here. You have to click on a checkbox. Once you click on a checkbox, it is going to appear. There is a load option going to appear on the screen. You click that and Power BI is going to start taking the data in the report. Okay. So Power BI has understood there is a sample data available and now it is ready to take it in. So you can see under my data section right now, you will find a financials as a table name. If you click on the same, you will see all the columns inside it available. Okay. So this is my data and this is my first process. This first process, we were able to do this first process because of this particular data section. And the main option here is get data. So connect to the data from multiple sources, whichever the data source you have, you can select that and you can get it in the system. So that is the first process that we see, that is get data. My first step is done. I have taken the data in and now my first step is clear. The second step is about the transformation. But before I go to that point, I'm going to wait here for a minute. And if there are any questions. Questions? Yes. How did you get to this screen? Which screen? So you have to open your Power BI desktop report. You have to click on a blank report like this. Once you are in, there will be the option to use sample data and load sample data, select the financials and click on load. That is it. All right. Give me thumbs ups whenever you are ready, whenever everybody is ready with the first step. That is our first step in creation of a report. I can see Shubham, Salman, who else? Venkata, Shiva. All right. Suslipta. Yes, financial data is a default data set that is as a sample data available. Thank you, Kirtana. Correct. So the first step is ready. We have taken our data. Now, as per my data set's concerns, I have to check if my data is correctly available or not. If do I have to perform any transformations with it or not. Right. So that is my second process. Second process says we have to manipulate or we have to do the transformation if there is any need in that data set. Okay. Sometimes you are going to get a data completely clean from your data from the data engineer in your team or database administrator, or sometimes it also been given by the client and they make it completely like they make it perfectly written and everything is perfect in that and you do not have to do anything. But there will be a time when you have to perform something and that you are going to do by in a step number 2, that is transformation. This step number 2, we will be doing it from this second option on your home tab. First section here was about data. Okay, please everybody pay attention on my screen. The first step here, we focused on the data section here. The second step now is going to be done by this transform data option. So transform data is nothing but your transformation process. So in in Power BI desktop, the second process that we are doing as a manipulation part, we will be able to do it by using a transform data. Once you click on a transform data here, it is going to open a new window. And this is a groundbreaking part of the entire Power BI desktop. Yesterday we talked about, right, like why Power BI is on the top and why people are focusing more onto it. So we have talked about lots of aspects, like there is an ecosystem we talked about, like Microsoft ecosystem we are having. We talked about it is a free software and the stuff. But there is one more very important aspect of it is Power BI is all-in-one software, which contains all the aspects that any other business intelligence process has to perform. So this transformation, the way this whole Power Query editor is there, it is so huge and it is so well prepared with its content and with its option, it can compete with any other ETL software in the market. And that's why, if you remember, I mentioned this point in the last session also, because I'm good, like I have a very like lots of hands-on on Power Query editor. Because of my that knowledge, I could understand Alteryx very easily and very fast. So when I open Alteryx software for the first time, I could understand ki, okay, this is what we are going to do and this is how I'm going to perform. So compared to the people who never use Power Query editor, it was my like it became my one of the superpower that time, that I could understand the entire Alteryx in a day or two because of this knowledge, first of all. And that's why I always mention this aspect with my experience, that if you learn Power BI desktop, the complete software properly, then learning any other software in under business intelligence domain will be very easier for you. Okay, so this is your Power Query editor, which is the full-fledged transformation software under Power BI desktop. If you see, let me minimize this page. Okay, if you see, there are two windows now. There is no one window anymore. Power BI desktop is entirely different aspect of this Microsoft Power BI, and now Power Query editor is having the entire different window on the screen. So Power Query editor is the place where we will be doing the transformations on the data. Transformation means if there are any issues that you see in your data, you are going to change it or you are going to edit it. Okay. So as I said, if you want to reduce number of rows, if you want to reduce number of columns, so those are the type of things. But this is a question for you now. Okay. There are 25 people in our class right now. So I'm going to ask you one question. If you receive the data, if rather you would be in a college or you are a professional collecting the data maybe someday, in that way, when you are collecting the data, what are the issues that you see, and what changes you would like to make if you are getting the data from someplace out? Yes, you can put that in the chat box.
So
And
one of the issue or one of the problem is that we get irregular data or some of the abnormalities. Like in few of the data, we are getting null and zero. So there are some undefined or not and so that are not expected. So that are the one of the drawbacks which I have seen in the data which we get it from the client or from the customer. After that, we need to perform some transformation like join and removing or alteration, aggregation, sum, and all those performance functions in order to means exclude those columns or the data from the file or to hide it. So those are the problems which we have seen previously.
Okay, so that are the problems you have seen, Shubham, when you have worked on the data. I can also see in the chat. So remove the duplicates. Perfect. This is something that we have always seen. Inconsistencies with the data. So I gave you the example of US, USA, United States, right? So everybody is meaning the same thing, but people are writing it in different words. Correct. If you see the null in the data, so that is something also the issue we see with the data set. Um, unstructured data means like for example, the product column contains all the product names, but somewhere somehow you started seeing some like special characters with it, like you do not see the actual product name, it started showing you some jargons about the data, right? So other than that, remove duplicates. Perfect. There will be nulls that you have to clear out. There may be a column which contains couple of value together, you can just split it, so that is also one of the scenario you probably have to do. Correct. Remove the columns that are not necessary on your table. Perfect, Gloria. Because at the end, when you are creating a report, the lesser and the important data you have, the faster your report will be. For example, right now, I can see I have 16 columns. I can see it at the bottom on my screen. You can see this position here. It shows 16 columns and 700 rows. Out of these 16 columns, if I am not at all going to use maybe 5 or 6 columns in it, then there is no meaning of it to keep it, right? Right now there are 700 rows. It is not going to make that much of sense to remove it. But think about it, that if you are having maybe 3 to 5 million number of rows in the data, and you are going to keep all the columns as it is, even if you are going to use it or not. So those cases is going to slow your report down. So only keep the data which is actually going to be useful to you. Maybe it might be in the case of number of columns. It may be in with the case of number of rows. Now here we are having a very fancy thing with Power Query Editor. This is our Power Query Editor, by the way. Power Query Editor is completely written in a basic English. Okay, you do not have to learn any code. You do not have to write any code here. All you have to do is whatever you want to perform, click the option, and the action will be performed. So for example, somebody says, I want to hide column, suppose. And just in case I do not want to see, suppose unit sold. This column I do not want to see. I want to hide it. So what I want to do, I will go and choose the column, like which column I want to go and choose with. So I do not want, suppose, unit sold. I will just hide it and like click on OK. The unit sold column will be hidden. Okay, it is there, but it is hidden right now. If I want to take it again, I can again choose this column and I can take it back. Okay. As I said, Power Query Editor is very simply created on the basis of a basic English. What you have in your mind, all you have to do is just figure out and find out where is this option. Okay. I understand this is your lecture number 1 for this topic, and I'm not at all going to judge you if you do not know or do not remember, like do not know where is what. And definitely till minimum, like for a 6 months, next 6 months, you are always going to fumble with all of these options. You have to double check the stuff like where is what, and it is very normal. It is completely normal. Even today, sometimes I have to cross check like if it is in a transform or if it is an add column. This is very common. Okay, but point is, at least you should know about Power Query Editor, like what is available and what is not. So for example, if somebody says that can you split the data in Power Query Editor, at least you may or may not know how to perform it, but at least you should know like if it is there or not. Somebody, some way, people will say, can you perform or can you create a conditional column in Power Query Editor? Even if you do not know how to, but at least you should know if it is possibility or not with Power Query Editor. For the first couple of months, this is the minimum requirement. This is the minimum prerequisite from you if you are learning Power BI Desktop. Okay. So if you like, I'm going to give you next 2-3 minutes to check it out. Okay, there will be a couple of features on this Power Query Editor which is going to be very different and new to you. But other than that, I guarantee you that each and every feature here is understandable. You know, like if you select and you like, even if you read it, you will know like what this feature is going to perform, right? So I'm going to stop here for a minute or two. I'm giving you this time to look at your Power Query Editor, open it, or you can even look at an on my screen and check like what are the features. Do you understand those terms or not? You do not know at the moment how to perform it, but at least you should understand like if at least you should able to understand it like what is it. Okay, that is my ask from you. Okay, I'm going to stop here for a minute and I'm going to give you a time to look at it from your perspective. Okay, give me a thumbs up like if you are like, I'm not expecting like all the 10 options you should know, but at least 3-4 options that you are understanding out of. Okay, give me the thumbs up that when you are feeling satisfied and you are thinking ki, yes, this is easier to understand, this is good to know, sort of. Yes,
Yes, we are.
right? Only thing now in future aspect, like whenever you are preparing, you are learning this software next, all you have to do is next time is to explore it more. Okay, not in a single day. It is again going to be a very gradual process, but the recommendation is like just explore, consider it as a playground, open any data, select any option, see what changes it makes on your data set and the stuff. Okay, today's session is not going to focus for the Power Query Editor, but trust me, when I take the session, it is almost for the 5 days of a whole Power Query Editor part. It is definitely very huge. There is not only just home tab, there is a transform tab. Like there are n number of features under the transform, there are n number of features under the add column, and all of this data, all of these features are equally important. Okay, like you never know like when you are going to use it in your work. So, and even for myself, even if there is a Microsoft Excel, but I have always focused and used Power Query Editor first. Like I couldn't work through the Excel because I have so much of hands-on with Power Query Editor that I will able to perform something on a query editor, but I won't be able to do it in Excel. So, but it is because it is that fancy. I do not have to write much. I do not have to do anything. I just have to select the option and it performs the task for me. What is the new source and recent source? New source means you are going to add a new data. So at the moment, I have taken a data from sample location. But if you are having some other data set you want to take in, you can select that option and you can take it. Recent sources means the recently, if you have opened a specific source, like some location, you can see these data sets from here. So you do not have to put your credentials again and again. You just select that option and the data will be coming in. Okay, so that is new source and the recent source. What is Power Query? So Power Query, it is a part of overall Microsoft Power BI Desktop, which is focuses on cleaning and transforming the data. So there is a Power Pivot, Power Query, Power Maps, and all of those aspects, and which is helping, which helps. Thank you, Venkat Shiva. as well as Shubham. They have given the same answers here. So Power Query focuses on giving the transformation, performing the data transformation and the stuff. Okay. Power Query like Excel also perform the Power Query, by the way. You can also open the Power Query editor by using Excel. So this feature is not only just for Power Query this feature is not only just for Power BI desktop, it is also there with Microsoft Excel to perform. Okay. Whenever you are ready, at the moment, we do not have to perform any type of a transformation, because since it is a sample data coming from Power BI only, because of that, the data is already completely clean. I can see like it is all green. This is the identification that green represents my data is 100% valid. If there are any issues, it is going to show either a black or it is going to show either red. Red or black color will be present. At the moment, it is completely green. It means my data is proper. I do not have to do anything. When you are done with your transformations, all we have to do is click on a close and apply. So this second process, which I have mentioned as a transformation here, this second process is done by transform data, which opens Power Query editor. So this is our step number 2. Once we have taken the data in, after that transform data, like you are going to click on a transform data and it is going to open Power Query editor. That is going to take you to the transformation process. This is our step number 2. In our scenario right now, we did not have to perform any transformation, but this is the path from where you can go to the transformation page. Point number 3, modeling is going to happen in model view only. This model view, you will be seeing it at this particular point. So there is a report view, there is a table view, and finally there is a model view. As I have mentioned earlier, when you are having 2 or more than 2 tables, in those cases only you will be able to do the modeling. In our case right now, we cannot do it because there is no other table to connect with. So we are fine and we are good to go for the with the single table in this case. But a quick idea behind it, like when you are having 2 or more than 2 tables, you are supposed to.
Yeah. Sorry.
So yeah, you can ask the question, Shubham. Yes.
No. I will ask it later. Okay, sorry.
So when you are having 2 or more than 2 tables in that case, how you are going to connect the tables together? That concept you are going to understand from the concepts from SQL. The very basic point and the very first point that you are going to learn in a SQL, it is called as primary key and the foreign. So when I am saying that 2 tables needs to be connected, so those 2 tables are going to get connected on the basis of a primary key from the one table and the foreign key from the another table. Okay. To understand this model view, to understand this concept called as primary key and foreign key, you need to have this, first of all, understanding with primary key and foreign key concept. So primary key represents a unique identification available about the data. Like each row will have a unique identifiable value in front of it. And that value is available in other table. Okay. It is referring to that particular table from other table. Suppose that is your foreign location. So there is a common key available. Like if you are completely non-technical, you are from a completely non-technical background and you have no idea about the primary key and the foreign key concept, then in a very simple word, we have to find out a common column between the 2 tables. Okay. If you don't understand primary key and the foreign key at this point of time, just understand that if you are having more tables, like more than one, then you just have to find out a common column between every 2 tables and just connect those 2 columns. Okay. So common column figuring out, that is what you have to see. And on that basis, you can connect the table. This is like very simplest idea behind this modeling. Definitely there is a technicality behind it, and we always have to cross check on the basis of technicality. But I'm just I'm explaining it on the basis of the people, for the people who do not know primary key or the foreign key at this point. Okay. So this relationship happens between the 2 tables on the basis of common column. In technical terms, this common column is primary key to the one table and foreign key to the another table. Okay. This is your step number 3. That is called as modeling, and it happens under the model view of Power BI desktop. Okay. I'm going to stop here for a minute. Shubham, you are having a question, and there are questions in the chat box. I will see.
Yeah,
Yes.
so actually my question is with respect to data modeling. So if I understand from a non-technical background, that it is just basically the relationship, right? Between the columns of 2 tables, right? Okay.
Yeah. So single column is going to select from both the tables. Say, suppose if you are having a customer ID, suppose. So one table will have a customer ID, same name of the customer ID will be available in other table. You just have to connect those customer ID to each other. That is the relationship is going to happen.
Okay. And in these cases, we are getting and we are pulling the data from one file, so we don't have any data modeling structure out here, right?
Yeah, at the moment, in our case, we do not have more than one table, so we do not
Yeah.
have to perform anything. But in any other cases, because actual full-fledged report will definitely have 4 or more than 4 or 5 tables with yourself. So
thank you.
in that scenario, you have to know primary key, foreign key. You need to know fact table, dimension table, and lots of technicality behind this modeling concept.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, Nidhi. Yes. Thank you, Shubham. Same data set, we are able to add new data, Power
Oh, ma'am,
BI, for example.
hi, ma'am.
Yes.
I have question.
Hi.
If don't have any common columns, so what we do?
So we connect them. So connection happens by using a relationship creation here. So there is an option like when we are having two. At the moment, this option is disabled because we do not have any other table here. So if you are having 2 or more than 2 tables, in that case, this relationship option will open and you will be able to perform the connection between the 2 tables. Okay. It will not make sense at the moment since we do not have the 2 table, but think about it. Just remember this stuff that 2 or more than 2 tables. That time, click on this relationship management and connect the 2 columns together. You just have to drag and drop that column on the other column, other tables column. Suppose if it is a month name and month name you want to common, the common column is month name. You just click there and drag and drop it to the other table's month name, and that will be it in that way. Okay, relationship between columns in the table, right? I want to add June data in the same sheet. We have May month sales data. Now I want to, yeah, we can do that. That is a part of a transformation, Nidhi. So if you want to add more data after May, after June, July, August, September, so you can do the append feature by using a transformation, like that by using a Power Query editor. So append is the feature which will help you to combine the data together. So Slipta says after the Power Query transformation, the updated data will show in table view, and can't we make any changes in a table view? It's only for a view. Perfect. Yes. So once your transformation is done, all the updated version of your data will be present here. So this is your table view. You will only able to do like there is nothing. It is all about the view. Okay. You are just going to do the viewing of the data set. If you want to see like how many what are the options in the under the filters, what are the values under each of the value, under each of the columns and all of these things, but it is only to view the data. Okay, it is not going to make you perform any type of a transformations here. So table view is specific for the transformations only. All right, and this is my model view. That is my step number 3. Don't have a common column. How we can join the 2 tables? So we need to have a common column between the 2 tables. If we do not have it, but there are multiple columns which are similar to each other, in that case, you should do the composite key. So there is a concept called as composite key, which means we are creating a new key on the basis of given data. Like multiple columns we connect together, like we combine the multiple columns together, and that we create a composite key. So we need to have a common column, but if just in case, okay, there are 2 tables which is entirely different, there is no relation between the 2 tables. Like one data is suppose related to restaurant and another data is suppose related to something related to bank, which have no common ground for the 2 tables. Then maybe that data is like that. You are having 2 different tables altogether, and you can proceed with those tables as well, because there is nothing to connect between. So my sister is also into Power BI desktop. So I have seen one of her project. There she is having 5 tables in that project, 3 tables connected with each other, 2 tables connected with each other. So there are like 2 different models work in the same report with respect to 3 tables here and the 2 tables here. So that can also be the scenario that might happen. It depends like what data set and which industry you're working for. Okay. So that was with our modeling tab, a modeling step, where we do the modeling under the model view option. Now the next and the most important option, that is a calculation. And calculation is done by a formula language called as DAX. This DAX represents as data analysis expression. A good news with the data analysis expression is like almost 70% of your formula, 70 to 80% of your formulas is going to match with your Excel's knowledge. So if any one of you has worked on an Excel, like even if it is for like even if you are with very basic knowledge with Excel, still if you have worked on a specific functions, formulas with it, you will definitely going to make sense with the DAX formulas here. Okay. There are only specific differences with respect to the DAX formula and with respect to the Excel formula. Okay. I am going to ask you a couple of questions. I would like you to be attentive in the chat box, because like instead of answering it by unmuting yourself, I'm expecting you to answer it in the chat. Okay. So my question is, if there is this data, okay, there is a country name and there is a population, suppose. Okay. Country USA and there is some random population. Then there is UK, there is some random population. Then there is I and India, suppose there is some random population. Okay. Now, sorry. Huh. So now my question is, if it would have been in Excel, this is my data available in Excel file. Okay, this is suppose column A, column B, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these are the rows. If it would have been an Excel and I want to know the total population in the column population. So how would you have calculated it? So if it is
Some
the
function.
Excel, I ask you to write down in the chat. I want the exact formula, like how you would have written it down. Some function is right, but I want the exact formula, the way you are going to write it down into the that function bar, formula bar at the top. Correct, Venkat Shiva. So sum and in the bracket range. So it is range of sales, right, Shubham? So it is something with respect to a range of those particular sales. So B1 colon B3, something in that way, right? So this formula starts with equal to sign. In Excel formula I'm talking about. The formula starts with Excel. The formula starts with equal to. The function name is going to be sum, because I want to know the total population in the list. So sum, I open the bracket. After that, I want to know the range of sales, right? The range of sales represents like from this particular value to this particular value, I will be selecting the rows, right? This is how we will be writing down our formula under the Excel, correct? Anybody wants to counter this statement? Correct, Prakhar. So Prakhar, Salman, Pratap, Patrick, Manish, Shubham, absolutely right. So you are going to select the range of sales. Now I'm going to compare this same formula with Power BI DAX. Okay. So when we are writing down this formula under the DAX, there will be two differences. Compared to this formula, there will be only two differences when we will be writing it in a DAX. The first difference is, when you are writing the formula in a DAX, you need to give a good name to it. It is like a title. It is something that you are going to call it. Okay. So what you are going to call that particular formula, you have to give that name. So suppose I want to know what I wanted to know. I wanted to know the overall sum of population here. So my title to this formula going to be total population. This is the first difference, population. Okay. This is the first difference compared to Excel. I did not have to give any name when I was writing it for Excel, right? We just have to start with the equal to sign. But in here with the DAX, I had to give a good name. I gave it. That was my first difference. After that, we go with the equal to sign, the same pattern as the Excel. After equal to, again, I will do the same pattern. That is my formula, sum. I want to do the addition of all the population values under the population column. So my equal to sign, sum, that is the function name. Round bracket opens. This is going to be my second difference. Second difference is, in Power BI DAX, we have to use an entire column name. We cannot work here with the sales. We cannot select a specific sales in the DAX or in the Power BI desktop at all. Whatever the calculation we will be creating, it will be focused on the entire column. You cannot select a specific sales in the range. Okay, that only happens in Excel. In Power BI DAX, we are going to focus on an entire column to perform the calculation. And this is going to be my second difference compared to Excel. First difference was we have to give a good name. Second difference is it focuses on an entire column. Okay. And that is how this particular formula gets written in a DAX. I'm going to create a couple of formulas. If you are performing with me on Power BI desktop, I'm going to give you options. Like I'm going to give you not a homework, it is like classwork. I'm going to give you some names, like some formula names, and you have to start creating it in the your report. So first one that I'm going to create, it's, let's say I'm going to use profit. I want to know what is my total profit. There is this data, and see, this is my suppose profit column. and I want to know what is the total profit. Let me see if I need to do the refresh. See. So there is my profit column. If I want to know the total profit, what I will do, I have to click on a new measure option. Okay, this is the new measure. This is the standard process I'm following. I cannot give you lots of information on the same at the moment, considering the time we are having. So click on a new measure. The name of my formula, I will be giving it as a total profit is equal to. After that, I will write down the function name, what function I'm going to perform. That will be sum. You select the sum. And now finally, I have to give the column name. And my column name is profit. Click and close. That's it. So once you save it, if I go back to my report view, you can see there is a total profit built. Okay, in my data, this data section, you will see the total profit that we just created. It is available here. Okay. Similarly, if I want to know, suppose total sales, again the same pattern, new measure, total sales is equal to sum of sales column. Okay. And close the bracket. So the one by one, the more measures you start creating, you are going to see its appearance coming on the data section here. So my total sales, total profit is built. Next I'm going to do is, let's say, total countries. So how will I calculate the total country? Which function should I use? I want to know total countries is equal to. I want to know total countries. Country is my text column. Which function am I supposed to use?
Count.
Count. Okay, let's see what this is going to give me as an answer. So count is what I have selected. Country is my column and close the bracket. Okay, so these are like three measures I have created. I want to see it. This is my fifth option. So calculation is done by DAX. And my last process, which is a visualization, that will only happen under the report view. Okay. So this report view now, I'm just going to drag and drop it on the screen. By default, Power BI takes it as a bar chart. Okay. I'm going to convert that to the number. Okay. So this is the bar chart. By default, it takes its shape as. I'm going to change it to the date tag, into the card. So you can see there is a card written on the screen. You select that and you will see it says 700. Do you think we are having 700 countries around the world? Like common sense, we do not, right? So this country, like we have to give, like when we use the count function, it has counted all the rows available with the country column. Okay, it did not selected a specific country which is uniquely available. So the right formula in this case would be, we have to know the distinct count of it. So distinct count, that's it. So all I had to do is change my count to the distinct. It is like a variable to it. So what function that we are talking about right now, they are called as aggregate functions. Whichever the software you select, these aggregate functions are going to be common, which is sum, average, mean, max, and finally it is going to be count. These are the 5 basic and the main aggregate function. What we are talking about right now, that is distinct count. This is like a variant of a count. So count counts the entire row, like all the number of rows as it is. It will not bifurcate it with respect to if it is appearing for the multiple times or not. It is not going to bifurcate those options. But if you are going to use distinct count, then it is only going to take every repeated number only for the one time. So that is your distinct count in this case. So distinct count is sort of like a variant to what count we are having in this case. Okay. So if I have changed my formula and if I click on a commit, I will get to see there are only 5 distinct countries. Like we are only dealing with the 5 countries here. Okay. How did I create this countries, profit and sales column in this case? And that is the most important aspect of the calculation, which is called as KPI. What do we have to create under the calculation? It depends on what KPIs that you are having as per your data. What is KPI? If I am an interviewer and I'm asking you to explain me about the KPI, what will you say?
It is a performance measure rating where we measure the rating of a person accordingly, his task and work.
Okay. Key performance indicator. So overall, its definition is key performance indicator. Okay.
these are key performance indicators and which let a particular user understand what are the main things he need to look at. Suppose,
Perfect.
yeah.
Yes, perfectly said, Pratap. So when key performance indicator term is mentioned, these are the most important indicators out of their business or out of their data on the basis of which any end user will judge it. Okay. So for example, very simple example for every one of us, everybody has faced it in their once in a life at least. So that is about your percentage. Rather it would be from a 10th class, 12th class, like college degrees or anywhere. If somebody asks you about your percentage, that is going to be your KPI. If you are a student, they are going to judge you on the basis of that KPI, which is the percentage mark. If you are like in a distinction level, like above 75%, 80%, they will judge you at the high level. If you are below 75% or something, then they will start talking with each other like, see, this student is not working well and studying well, right? So this is your KPI. KPI is like performing indicator if you are doing good or bad. And same on the same line, if you are thinking about it with respect to the businesses, and if you are having a business which is into sales, you are selling something in the market, and your revenue or your profit says minus 300. So that profit value is your KPI. Why? Because I am getting to see minus 300. It means my business is going down, and I'm able to see that part because of that particular number, and that is why it is called as KPI, key performing indicator, which means about your data, which particular number, which metrics is explaining about your data, that if it is going well or bad on the basis of those numbers. So these KPIs are very unique to the companies, very unique to the departments, and also very unique with respect to industries. You cannot say like this KPI, if you have done in a one company, you are going to perform the exact same KPI to the other company. There will be some changes into it. There will be some formula change with those companies with respect to those data. So you always have to study about it. Okay. So let me give you one. It is not an example. It is an exercise. And please try to write it down in the chat box. I want to see it. I want to know like everyone's answer for the same. Sales industry is the most common industry. I talked about it, and everybody can start giving me the option key. Okay, this can be a KPI. This can be KPI. Let's think about something into the healthcare company. Okay, health, not company, but healthcare, hospital. Suppose if you have got the data from the hospital, what do you think? What are the most important KPIs if there is a data from the hospital background? I want the answers in the chat box. Okay, think about it that you are a part of a hospital. Okay, you are probably a nurse or you are probably a doctor in that hospital. What would be the important KPIs that you will tell in front of other investors, like sponsors, investor? There are treasuries for every hospital, right? So what do you think that would be my KPIs? Number of patients, major diseases, most medicines used, Aadhaar card number, Aadhaar card number. So it is basically number of patients per day. Perfect. Major diseases. It means like how many specialties that this hospital has, how many ICU wards this hospital has. Perfect. Disease name, how many diseases this hospital can cure, right? Staffing ratio, perfect, Niyati. It means like for how many patient there are, how many nurses available or how many doctors are available. Okay. Claims ratio, checkout time, perfect, Neha. Like how much time a patient stays in that hospital, that is what this checkout time means. Revenue per bed, all right, correct. Revenue per employee. Return on investment, that is something we have to check with respect to administrative data, but I'm thinking about it with respect to only hospital. Bed occupancy, how many times it is available and how many times it is empty. Recovery rate, correct. That is mortality rate also, you can call it, like how many people are coming in and sort of in that way. Correct. All medicines available, how many different types of medicines are available. Bed spaces, perfect. So you got an idea, right? So if you are having an hospital and you want to boast about it in front of other people, you have to talk about this the KPIs. Like I have an occupancy of suppose 1,000 patient at a time. I have like 15 number of ICUs. I have like 25 different doctors with these specialties, suppose. So these are the boasting point when you are talking about your hospital. If you start saying, I have only 20 to 30 number of patient occupancy, I cannot take more. So people will start thinking, okay, this is like very small hospital, and they are going to start judging you. So the judgmental points are your metrics. Judgmental point represents as your KPIs. Okay, this is the way like how you are going to figure out what KPIs you are going to take. This is the pattern. First important thing is you have to also check your data set. If your data set contains those columns or not. Staff to patient ratio is fine, but you need to have that data available with you also. All of this answer you have said that was perfectly right, but you also have to put some common sense with the data set that we are going to get. Okay. But what exercise we did, that is the perfect way we are supposed to do. But in the market in future, if you are giving any interview, there will be a point, there will be a time when a data set given to you does not make any sense to you at all. You have never seen that industry, suppose you have never worked on that particular industry. So how we are going to do? What we are going to do in that case? We are going to do the Google. So for example, I had never worked in a social media industry. Just in case, I'm just giving you one example. Suppose I have never worked on a social media industry. So what will I do? Social media industry KPI with formula. I'm just going to search the term as it is, and you are going to see like all the important KPIs which is under the social media coming on the Google page. Okay. Again, put your common sense, check the columns that is available in the data, and check the formulas given by it. Try to tweak the prompt different times, like in a different ways, and see what are the questions, what are the KPIs as well as the formula it represents. And this is the way that how you are going to get your KPIs. This is the way how you are going to know what further calculations you have to perform on the basis of already given data. Okay. So this is all your social media type of KPIs. You will see the formula, you will see the importance. It will also going to explain like what all the things is available on the same. But my purpose to explain all of this to you, because this is one of the biggest, like on YouTube, they shows like this is the most viewed point on the screen. They usually show that particular dot. So on the entire report creation, this is the most like stopped point, like people stopped at this particular point only whenever they are creating a report. They do not know at all like what to create. They do not know at all like what KPIs they are supposed to present. So your task always, whenever there is a calculation aspect in your report, you are supposed to understand your industry, the dataset industry, and on that basis you are supposed to understand what KPIs would be important. You cannot say like all of these columns are important. Where is my data? You cannot say like all of these columns are important. Every business, every industry, every company is different, and every company considers different KPIs for themselves. So you need to study that part. Okay. When you are working with any actual live project, they are going to give you that aspect. They are going to tell you, okay, my company focuses on this number. We would like to see this aspect of my data. And that's how you are supposed to progress ahead. Okay. In my scene, I have created the total countries, total profit, and total sales. If I want to put it on my screen, okay. I'm not going to create a very full-fledged project here. I'm just going to show you what is the entire process that I usually follow. So my calculations are ready. I have created total countries. Let me change it to the total sales. I'm changing it to the total profit. Okay. So suppose these are my 3 KPIs. This is completely hypothetical situation. There might be more KPIs or there might be different KPIs. I'm just talking it out to show you the 5th process in the case, like visualization. So I have 3 KPIs on my screen. And how do we create the report? And this is the main important step from these 5 steps, where this is the step that your client is going to see. Okay. The first 4 steps, client is not even going to give a damn like what you have actually created. They are only going to see at your final page, that is your final lookout, like what you have created. And on that basis, they are going to judge you. So this is your report view. This is your visualization. And how we are supposed to create it, that's what I'm going to talk next. Hardly next 5 minutes and we will be good. 5-7 minutes almost. Okay. Report view is going to be the judging point for you in front of the client. That's why you are supposed to make it in that way only. And always consider that your client is completely non-technical. That person do not know, do not understand anything at all. So considering this primary statement in our mind, we are supposed to start creating a report. And also think about your report like a newsletter. For example, everybody has a newspaper. Once upon a time, you probably have read it at your home and you have seen it somewhere. So the way newspaper you see, what do you see on the top? The very first thing on your newspaper, what do you see on the top?
The headlines.
Headlines, and above headline, there is a title of your newspaper, right? First of all, that title is your title to the report. Okay. So I'm supposed to give a proper title to my report. Suppose we are working with the sales. I clicked on a text box. I'm writing down as a sales analysis. This is the name. to my entire report. The way in a newspaper you see the title at the very top and in a very fancy words and in a very proper position, so that everybody should know like what you are reading. So this is my sales analysis and I am reading my sales analysis as a report. The next thing that you are going to see, perfectly said by Shubham, that is a headline. Before actually dive deeper into the newspaper, you always check for the headline. If you find it interesting, then only you go ahead and start reading it further, right? So that's why your headlines are your KPIs. Once your title is written, the next important thing on your report is going to be a headline, and that is a KPI. So KPIs are going to be the next important aspect on your report. Okay, if there are 5 KPIs, if there are 2 KPIs, whatever the number of KPIs you have, everything you are supposed to put it at this place. That is my step number 2. Like from top to bottom, my heading is done, title is done, my headlines are ready. Now I am going to start analyzing those numbers. Now I am going to give more elaboration to this number. So for example, if my company is more interested into the total sales, so everything that I'm going to create next is going to be focused and work around the total sales. So for example, I will show my line chart, which will show like my total sales with respect to suppose date. The date as per the total sales. So I will understand like how my overall year, let me make it at the certain point. So this is my total sales with respect to the entire year or the period of time. This is total sales by year or month. Next thing that I will show, suppose like I'm just elaborating those numbers. If my company says that my company is more focused about the profit, then instead of total sales, I would have used total profit. It depends like what your company is focusing on, and on that basis you are supposed to create it. Suppose after the total sales with respect to time, I can also show it with respect to the countries, like how each country is performing with respect to the profit, which country is giving the maximum profit to us, suppose. Total sales or total profit. See, this is the total profit, and the bigger the bubble, more the profit you are seeing. Okay, so you can see there is Germany is giving the maximum profit, and then there is this USA, Canada, and stuff. And these are my maximum profit bearing countries. After that, let's take we are working with the pie chart. So pie chart we are having suppose discount bound. So which discount band has given us the maximum profit? So that we can show suppose so discount band wise profit. So it depends. Like the more elaboration you give, if my number, the person is integrate with your number like 16.89 and how and from where we are getting it, you just have to put all of those pointers in your report. Okay. Sometimes your client is only going to give you what all the analysis you need to put. If they do not give it to you, you have to just check for the values, what all the stuff available on my data. And on that basis, you have to start creating the charts on your report. So starting with the trend over the time, then we focused on the country, then we focused on which discount band that they have. Then maybe with respect to the product, like which product we have got the most profit from. Okay, so there are like different products. And we are having a segment as well. So let's take it as a bubble chart and put it as a segment. Which segment? Like which segment has given us the maximum profit? So government segment has given us the maximum profit. So this is how you can create the remaining of the chart. Visualization is like 60% KPIs and the remaining 40% analysis. So after KPI part, you are going to just analyze it. So analysis it is just elaborate the KPIs on the basis of available fields. Okay. So this is what exactly happens when we are working through the visualization aspect. What we did in the 5 steps, we started with getting the data. Second process, if there is any transformations you need to perform, so we did that. Third process, 2 or more than 2 tables, we are supposed to connect it with each other, and that is your modeling. Fourth process, you need to figure out the KPIs of your business, your data set, and on that basis, you will perform the DAX formulas on your, you are going to perform the DAX formulas and create the KPIs out of it. Once your KPIs are created, you are going to analyze it further by using the different charts, and that you are going to do into the visualization. So visualization under the report view, you start with the proper title, and there is a big heading you will give. After that, you will start with the headline to my data, and after that, you are going to start elaborating it with respect to the different charts available. This is how the entire process goes. My agenda for today's session was to help you navigate this entire report, help you understand, like next time when you open the Power BI report, at least you should know from which page to what, like in which direction you are supposed to go with respect to the data. Okay, we are not going to become a pro in a one lecture. I agree with that statement. But at least the next time you will open the Power BI report, you will not feel confused. That is my guarantee. You
So
should at least able to know like what aspect and which aspect is where, and you can navigate after that. Yes, Shubham.
Yeah, so Ruchika, so one question I have, so that when we hover over to the segment part and we see that from the government we are getting the highest percentage profit, so this dashboard is getting auto adjusted automatically. So which feature we have used for that?
That is a filter context. It is like interactivity with the chart. So whichever the, like for example, you are interested about the passive. Okay, this particular product, you want to see like what all the aspects with respect to passive is happening on the report. So you just select that. Accordingly, the entire report will get updated. For example, when I clicked on the government, so entire of my report focused on the government word, and it just gave me the numbers with respect to the government as my segment. So it is a filter context that I'm applying here, and it represents that my data is interactive with respect to each chart available in the case.
Okay,
Okay,
okay.
that is what basically is happening. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you
Okay.
very
So everyone, that is it from my side. This was what I wanted to explain and help you with in today's session. In my like in my main batches, I've talked more on each of those aspects that we have talked about in the today's class. There are basically 7 pillars. The remaining 2 pillars that we have talked on, that is more about the distribution and automation of this entire data process, like how to take the data and do the stuff. Okay, but other than that, with respect to the simple Power BI desktop level, this is how the entire process goes. Manish has asked the question with respect to visualization. So see, visualization, basic 5 visualization options are there: line chart, bar chart, pie, table, and finally map. Line chart, whenever there is something over the period of time, whenever you want to show something with respect to the time, year, month, anything of that sort, then it is going to be a line chart. Then if you are having a categorical data, like more than 5 categories are there and you want to show something in that way, then then bar chart is your option. When you are having 5 or less than 5 categories and you want to show the slices, like you want to show the share of each of those 5 categories, then that is a pie chart for you. Once pie chart is done and you want to show lots of data on your screen, like there are multiple columns to be used, in that case, table is what we use. And finally, when it is a geographical data, like you have the location related information, then there is a map, geographical map we use. Before starting the visualization option, I mentioned this point that consider your user, consider your client as a completely non-technical person. And that non-technical person will only understand these 5 different types of charts. If you get to know from your manager ki no, you can go all out, you can experiment with the charts, you can create as many different types of charts as you want, then only try to perform different visualization, then only go in that direction. But till then, my suggestion would be always stick with these 5 different chart types. Don't go into random direction, because even if you will understand that report, but your client or your end user will not able to understand it. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
okay, so Rushika, meanwhile, we will practice with our Excel data and we'll try to means get ready for the next session. Till that time, we need to experiment few of the things.
Definitely, Shubham. Do explore. We will see like when we will have the next session. The batch is going to start from the first week of July. So I am not sure like this week we will not have anything. The next week is going to directly start the session. So if anybody is interested in this, anybody want to like join the batch and want to know more about it, suppose, so feel free to connect with me. If you have any background or anything, you can put the message on the same, and I can try helping you out with your query in that case, right?
Thank you, Ruchika, for your time.
Yeah, no problem, Shubham. All right. Along with this, so anything else anybody is having questions about? I tried to cover as many pointers as possible with respect to the time we were having today. I know like this is not all Power BI. This is hardly 2 to 3% of Power BI we have talked, not more than that.
Yeah,
How to enable the map?
one
Just a
last
minute,
question.
Shubham. Just a minute. Suslita says how to enable a map. By default, you are going to see this circular map on the screen. You visualization area, you will see there is a globe, and you open it, it is going to take the map shape. That is how you open the map. Once you have the map, the next thing you have to need is a location data. If in my data, I wouldn't have the country column, suppose, then there is no need to create a map. Okay, like common sense. We cannot create the map at all. We need to have a location related data, that only be the case. Okay. How long the class will take? That is it actually. We are done with the session. I'm just taking the questions if there are any. We are done with the class. It says map is disable. Then if it is saying disable, then below that they should show like from where you are going to enable it. So it's supposed to be from file. Then there is this options and settings. Then there is this options. Then there is this security. There is a path, Suslita. If you see in that message, in that box, it's supposed to show you the map. Sorry, it's supposed to show you the direction where to go. So under this security here, you will see there are this map and field map options. So you just have to enable it. On my screen, it is already enabled. But for you, you have to enable it and you click on OK. That's it. Sometimes you have to restart your Power BI desktop for them, for it to get implemented. But if not, it is this is the way it is. Cool. I'm in the training for Power BI. So I am planning to start this session in the July 1st week. So, and I'm going to have these sessions on alternate days. That is Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, 3 days. Okay. And that will be 9 p.m. IST, which is about 10:30 a.m. CST, CT or CST in that way. So it is going to be 1 hour to 1.5 hour of a session every alternate days. Okay. If there are some times when we need more clarification on the subjects, then over on the weekend also we probably can take the session. But other than that, mainly 3 sessions every day, every alternate day. And that will be for USA time, it is 10:30 a.m. CST. For Indian time, it is 9 p.m. IST. Yes, scenario-based problem. This is something which comes under the special sessions, and after every bigger topic, like for example, we are done with Power Query Editor. For example, we are done with data modeling. So the scenario-based questions are also covered at that time. So there will be like five, six different scenario-based questions happens in that way. Shubham is having a question. Can you put into the chat or you want to speak? Yes, Shubham.
So I want to speak. So actually, when the classes start, so we will be having the Kahoot at the end of the session also.
Yes. So everything that I everything that I do, let me show it to you on my screen. So this is something from my previous batches. See, I always maintain all of my batches content. Okay, like all the batches that I have done in the past. So if you open it, with respect to each batch, each class, you are going to see the material. You are going to see like what content we have prepared on that lecture. Okay, and what are the topics, what are the images, files, everything. That is first. Okay, this is like all the PDF images, slides. So this is something which is there. Along with it, I also keep, let me open that, which is a classroom. Okay, where is my classroom? This. So there is this Google Classroom that I keep. Like I got to know about it after my B5 batch. So you can see all of my classroom content, like links with respect to the images, extra PDFs, extra information. Okay, dataset suggestions. So it is sort of like a common community field. People ask the question if there are any. They connect with me like this 25 students have attended and seen this formula, self-study link. So all of this content, whatever we have learned on that particular date, you can see on the basis of each date, I have given this,
Okay, so
I
we
have
will.
updated the topic. So that
So
is the second thing you do. I do. Third thing I do with the Kahoot, that is like every batch is having the specific questionnaire, like the questions on the specific topics and the stuff. After that, there is a scenario-based question that Manish has already asked. And there are also the special sessions where we do the guest lectures, like how person has cracked the job, what question they got to ask, PL 300 topic, LinkedIn optimization. I guess that
because
is also resume optimization, all of this.
because
Yeah.
my area of concern is that Kahoot, because if we have Kahoot, so the interaction and the session will be also very good. So that is my
Yeah,
concern.
it is there. Like it is something that I have always kept so that I just want to judge, like in a way, I want to judge the students, like how much attention they were paying in the last session. And even for you guys, from your point of view, you also get to know like how much understanding you got on the topic, right? And also
Right.
there are assignments as well. So this is not just a topic, there is a topics with respect to assignments also. Okay, so after every session, you can see there are like 6 different special sessions that has happened. Along with that, LinkedIn optimization, a different subject. And there are attendance also I always maintain, like who has attended and not. So there are like assignments with respect to the different concepts, data modeling, DAX, Power Query Editor, and all of this. Okay, so practice questions also, if you are done with the assignments, you want to know more to questions. So I also share these practice questions with you. Okay, so these are like all the things, like at the end, you need the hunger. That is what I always said. Like there are 20 students in my batch. not all the 20 students are equally passionate, right? Out of 20, there will be hardly 2 to 3 people who are actually going to stand up to me and ask me about, like, this is what I want to know more about. So it differs, definitely. Recordings, yes, recordings will be provided. Duration of the entire training will be about, so there will be about 20 to 25 sessions, maybe more. Okay, it depends like on the basis of students' connectivity with me, and also there will be one-on-one sessions also. So I will say, like, if it is starting in the first week of July, then it is going to end by the end August. So last week of August, that is when we will be done. So about 2 months, 1.5 to 2 months. Recordings will be provided, yes. Cost, the amount and all the important feature I have added into the brochure. I hope the brochure is with you. And also along with the brochure, I have shared one Google form. Okay, I do not take all the people in my batch. I always see, like, if they are qualified with respect to the criteria. For example, are you going to put equal efforts or not? I'm going to sign a paper from your end, like if you are going to put all of that efforts or not. So there is a Google form that I first of all ask you to fill it. And once that Google form is clear from my end, then only I will send you the remaining information. Like this is because I have got so many. I guess Manish is one of that person. He's behind my back since like almost a month or two. He's asking me for these batches to start. And he knows, like, I have not even given him the entire information as of now. Right. Cool. So I hope everybody is on Power BI group. Arun sir probably have added all the details. I will also put the remaining details on this on that group. Suppose. Okay, you have not got the. Okay, let me send that in the chat right now. So with respect to the brochure, everybody who has not received it or probably have not seen it yet, suppose both the cases. Let me put that in the chat. Not this one. Yes. So that is in the chat. So everyone who has not seen the brochure yet, you will find it in the chat box. You can download it and go through it. I always deliver more than this brochure. The brochure is just for your, like high level idea. But in the session, it always goes beyond and above that, like topics that is mentioned. So still go through it. If there is anything that you think it is missing or whatever your thoughts are on the same, do let me know. My number is here. I'm going to put my number in the chat as well. So if you have any questions or anything that you want to share with me, you can send the message to me, 930700109. Okay. So that is a number that I'm going to put in the chat. You can look into that and connect with me if you are having questions. Okay. Yes. Is anybody there? I'm good from my side. And have a wonderful night, by the way. If there is any questions, or Arun sir, if you are there, I'm good and done. I have done it. No, it is India number +91.
Rushika, I have a question.
Yes, please.
Just wanted to ask you one thing. Based on your experience, I know that the data sources which we take into Power BI, it may come from different sources like Excel and all those. Not the data sources, the data. As per your experience, you have worked so much. Just want to know, is there anything like okay, the most of the companies prefer Excel, or some may prefer. What is the most used data source to get into data into Power BI that we'll be watching in real time?
Very good question, Pratap. Thank you for asking. So what happens now in this case, like every company and like how well they are into this data industry, that also matters. In my previous role, in my previous job, that was completely into data. Like it is not just about data, it was completely to client project. They kept on getting new projects every week. So there was a time, like every week I will be on a 2 to 3 different projects. Like I will be connecting with the client and I'll be getting their data and the stuff. So that team was completely data focused. There used to be a data engineer. There was a ASP.NET developer who used to convert the API data into the data available in the SSMS, and I used to get the data from SSMS platform directly. So one of the most commonly seen platform that I have seen, the most common platform that I have seen in my work, that is SSM, SQL Server Management Studio. But before that SSMS, that is a centralized repository, right? There are people who were using and working on the APIs, and they converted that API into the actual table format. So there used to be people under the data engineer role who used to work on that API concepts and convert the data into the format of table. So from my point of view, where I was working and in the role Power BI developer, so I used to get the data directly into the SSMS, SQL Server Management Studio. That is one of the most commonly used point I have seen. In my current role, where the maximum data and maximum people who I'm working with, they're completely from non-technical background. They gathers their data set in the Excel sheets only, sometimes in a Google sheet. So my most common data source that I use and take from that is SQL, that is Excel and the Google sheets only. With respect to my students that I have seen, I have seen them work with the Snowflake, which is sort of equivalent platform similar to SSMS. Like you will see how the data has been working on the same also. That they have got the data on the on Snowflake, but SSMS is the one that is the most common. Like because it is a common repository, that is something data warehouse, like all the centralized location repository that people keep. So like the common one, the if hash one I want to say that will be SSMS. And that's why I say like query SQL is what you have to learn along with Power BI.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Thanks, Pratap. All right. Okay. So I think that is it. We are good. I'm good from my end. I'm not sure if Arun sir is there or Akriti. If you guys have anything to mention at the end, please feel free. Thank you everyone to be a very good audience today. And I hope I helped you understand something a little bit about Power BI desktop. And have a wonderful day as well as have a wonderful night.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Rushika.
Shubham.
Thank you, everyone, for
Thank
joining.
you.
Bye bye. Take care.
Yes.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.